these cars came from the factory with fairly conservative timing. So today we're going to test that. We're going to bump this thing down to 8 degrees of timing. We're going to take it down the road. We're going to test it with the Dragy. If you guys don't know what that is, it's just a little sensor. It's a GPS module, and it tells you your quarter-mile time, your 8-mile time, your 0 to 60, all that type stuff. We're going to test it out. Now, just know ahead of time, this car is slow. It's pretty much bone stock. All it's got is a B-cam in it, and to be honest with you, the B-cam probably hurt the horsepower of the car, at least the torque for sure. We're going to go from 8 degrees to 10 degrees to probably 14 degrees. All right, I'm going to stop beside the road somewhere in a parking lot, and we're going to change this thing, and we're going to get back out there and try it again. It. That is 8 degrees of timing. As you can tell, the car sounds completely different. Sounds a little lethargic, if you will. All right, let's go ahead, take it down the road, do a pull. We'll change it up, do another pull. I can tell you now, the car doesn't like the 8 degrees of timing very much. Set the timing to 10 degrees and see if it makes a difference. All right guys, so that's 12 degrees of timing in the car right now. So let's see if that makes any sort of difference. Now, I do anticipate the car spinning a little bit more. Like I said, this car does not hook at all. It's not because it makes any power, it's just because it only spins one tire most of the time. Car really doesn't feel much different. We'll take it up here and see for sure. Well, we won't be doing it right there. Cop. All right, guys, let's get it. 14 degrees for the last time, make a pull, and let's go back and talk about it. That's 14 degrees of timing. Let's see if it makes a difference. Do is we'll go back, we'll look at all the speeds, and we'll talk about this once we get back home. How scientific was that? Not very much at all, but you know what, it kind of gives you an idea, and what it did was it opened my eyes to when we do these simple mods like bumping the timing up and things like that, cold air kit, they're not going to be game changing, right? They're not going to be groundbreaking horsepower numbers that you're going to gain from something like this. But let's talk about what that does. What something like that could do is give you the edge over, say, your buddy, right? Let's say both of you hook, both of you are good drivers. Bumping your timing up from 8 degrees to 14 degrees, or from 10 degrees to 14 degrees, probably could net you about a fender to a half a car. With all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and look at the numbers real quick. Like so. All right, guys, so our first run, and I'll put it up on the screen for you, was a 1504 at 96 mile an hour in the quarter of a mile. Now, this car is not fast, and that's not what this is about. So our first run was a 1504 at 96 mile an hour, and that was at 8 degrees of timing, guys. All right, so at 12 degrees of timing, we went a 1489 at 96.6 mile an hour. So 0.6 actually. So not much of a change there, but we were fighting some wheel spin. Okay, and lastly, we have 14 degrees of timing. We went a 1493 at 95 mile an hour. All right, so why is that? Let's talk about this for a second. Well, for one thing, we were fighting wheel spin with the car, so the more power you make, the harder it's gonna be to hook. This is something that you guys need to remember. Tires are everything. If you don't have a good enough tire to put down the power that you're making, there's a good chance you're gonna be slower. What this test showed me was this car with this tire and the issues that's going on with the rear end of this thing, it doesn't need any more timing. Sure, it's a little more peppy whenever you're driving it around, but as far as like in a drag race, the car just spins more. Also, as you can see, my shifter was literally about to fall out of my hand. This happened after we took off, so I just rolled with it. So we slowed the shifts down each time, the same amount, so it shouldn't really matter. Anyway, guys, there you go. Does timing really matter on these cars? Yes and no. It all depends on your expectations. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's super simple, non-scientific, and that's what we do over here on this channel. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, and as always, thanks for watching.